Hi, welcome to my channel, Inner Goddess Guidance. My name is Lara, and I am a divine feminine on the twin flame path. I created this channel for people who are doing the work of self-healing on the path to self-mastery. That, of course, doesn't mean that you're all alone, that you're doing it all by yourself. We all reach out for help and assistance, but that you are really assuming control of your journey instead of sort of allowing other people to tell you what's right for you. You're delving deeply and doing your own work. So I was guided to this mission and asked by Spirit to use my tools as a teacher, as a personal coach, and as somebody who has been on the path of self-healing for some time now. I have created a group. It is a Facebook group called Inner Goddess Guidance. You can join that group. It's a closed group. We are creating oracle cards, everybody their own deck, and it is a beautiful way of delving deeply into some of the most pertinent topics and themes and subjects for ourselves, and then creating an image to go along with that, whether that's our own images, using art therapy, to sort of create those images, digital art, through painting, etc., photography, or whether that's seeking images from, public domain images or otherwise. The decks that are created are each person's individual deck, and therefore they're easy to read because you create them. And the process itself really can allow somebody to go as deeply as they want at any particular time. It's very individualized. There's no competition. There's no time frame. We do focus each week on 2 topics. And this week, the topic is mindfulness. And so this video right now is going to be dedicated to that topic. It doesn't mean that you have to be in the group in order to sort of participate. You could also create your own cards right along with the different videos as you wish. Again, that's just taking control of your own journey for you. I highly recommend the process. It is a very healing one. So today's topic being mindfulness. Well, mindfulness is a huge topic and so prolific that people, of course, have written books. They've done their doctoral dissertations. They've created entire companies around the concept of mindfulness. So I think that most people initially, when we say the word mindfulness, think of meditation. And that was, the predominant way that people got in touch with mindfulness for many, many years. But it's been in the past at least 10 to 15 years that mindfulness practice has really broadened, because what we understand about mindfulness is that it is a state of mind. It is a way of looking at the present moment or being in the present moment with a kind of observation and non-judgmental attitude or awareness. It is very grounding, coming into your body, coming into the moment, being aware of the sights and the sounds and the experiences of that particular moment, no matter what it is that you are doing. So I think of it as a frame of mind. And a lot of times I get pulled from that frame of mind because I get lost in my thoughts or my emotions, and they sort of start driving the car being my life, my behaviors, my reactions. But mindfulness, if we can bring ourselves back to a state of mindfulness, whether we're doing the dishes, whether we're having in an argument or having a conversation with somebody, whether we're taking a walk, whatever it is we're doing, if we can bring ourselves into a state of mindfulness, it brings us back into the present. We become aware of our own thoughts, not as experiencing them, but as being aware of them. And it really makes you realize how much you can control or at least allow that experience of the moment without it taking you over. So that's my quick take on the definition of mindfulness. There are tons of definitions and, like I said, tons of resources. I'm going to link in the comment section some resources that I found useful. But I would say that if you're interested in mindfulness, to go on your own journey of finding resources that might be helpful to you, especially when it comes to mindfulness practices. So I am going to talk about a few of those today and focus on a few resources that I think are particularly helpful, especially when related to this journey. But you can, one great idea would be to, if you're interested in bringing mindfulness practices more into your life, just Google search mindfulness practices, and you will come up with lists or suggestions, and you could even write those out on cards, very much like the Oracle cards, just on index cards, write them down, and then use them as a way of working with mindfulness in your own life by pulling a card every day and say, oh, I'm going to try this practice today, until you find ones that really work for you. One of the people that I am highlighting in the videos is a man named Mark Robert Waldman. And Mark pioneered a new coaching methodology protocol that is called neuro coaching, and that is the coaching practice that I have been studying for 2 years with him. He's quite well known. He's a professor at the Loyola Marymount University, and in the executive MBA program. And so people at all levels are starting to use mindfulness practices, because when we do that, we can self-regulate a little better, and especially when it comes to things that are stressful. So people who are living stressful lives and have stressful jobs, like, of course, executives of large companies, they need to be able to de-stress and periodically throughout the day. And so Mark's strategies that he highlights in Neuro Wisdom are really useful for that. And those are some of the practices that I work with in my coaching business, working with clients individually. So today I want to focus on two main resources that I think are really useful for this journey, specifically when it comes to love. And one of them is a book that I read several years ago, and it's called How to Be an Adult in Relationships: The 5 Keys to Mindful Loving. And it's written by David Richo. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce his last name. It was published in 2002. I think I read it in about 2010. And I've reread it and actually gifted it to many people because it is so filled with really good information. And some books, we read them once, it's fine. We can remember the most important things and we're done with them. This is not that kind of book. This is the kind of book that as you come back to it and read it again, you're not only reminding yourself of what was there before, but you're delving deeper each time because you're bringing to it a new perspective. You're bringing to it new experiences, and then you can read the book with that lens. The book's available in Kindle edition or ebook edition. It's available for Audible or spoken read, and then obviously in paperback, and quite popular, gets high ratings from people on Amazon and Goodreads and all over. So I wanted to share with you a few things about the way that he's structured this book, and then I also want to invite you to become a part of a book study for this. So I've decided that it's so good and so helpful. But as with anything, I think that anytime we can discuss with others and gain from their insights too, it helps us clarify our own insights. So when I have a conversation with somebody on a topic, it's it's the process of me sharing my thoughts, them sharing their thoughts, that often leads me to a new understanding, even greater than what I could get on my own. So I've decided to start a Facebook group that's, again, closed for people who want to purchase this book or and study along with us. And since it's 9 chapters long, it would take 9 weeks. I decided a chapter a week would be good. And I suggest that if you are interested, you click the link that I'll put in the description box to join that group. Or, find a friend or somebody else who would be interested in reading the book right along with you. If you're partnered, oh my goodness, it would be really, really great to read this with your partner and then have discussions as you're going through. It's not a manual for relationships like, how to solve problems or anything, although there's a lot of tips for that. It's just a way of looking at and being present in a loving relationship. And that's not exclusive to a romantic relationship. It's all loving relationships. So I want to read from the back for you. It says, most people think of love as a feeling, says David Riccio. But love is not so much a feeling as a way of being present. In this book, he offers a fresh perspective on love and relationships, one that focuses not on finding an ideal mate, but on becoming a more loving and realistic person. Drawing on the Buddhist concept of mindfulness, How to Be an Adult in Relationships explores 5 hallmarks of mindful loving and how they play a key role in our relationships throughout life. So the 5 keys that he brings out and focuses on, specifically are granting attention, acceptance, appreciation, affection, and allowing. So those are the 5, and he calls them the 5 A's. Again, attention, acceptance, appreciation, affection, and allowing. It says these are the doorways to the joys and wealth of relationship. But too often we don't grasp what these words really mean, and we don't know how to fully manifest them in our relationships. So one of the things that I like about this book is the deep dive into each one of those concepts and how they permeate many different levels of our relationships. And that's kind of related back to the oracle cards and the way that when you focus on one thing and you dive in deeply, your understanding, awareness, and then your capacity to integrate that new awareness into your life and into your behavior is really healing and really good. It says, brimming with practical exercises for couples and singles, How to Be an Adult in Relationship offers heartening insights into the lifelong journey of love from childhood to adulthood, from dating to breakups. Topics include becoming conscious of patterns in our relationships, recognizing and attracting adult love, and I like to add healthy there, adult healthy love, but I know he means that there. Understanding the major phases of relationships, maintaining healthy boundaries as we become increasingly intimate, overcoming fears of abandonment or engulfment, expressing anger and other emotions in adult, i.e. healthy, ways, surviving breakups with your self-esteem intact, and understanding love as a spiritual and heroic journey. So if you're a twin flame or consider yourself one, you probably already understand that concept that love is a heroic journey that's filled with all the same things that the hero goes through, right? The launch into the abyss and the unknowing and the dark night of the soul. And the gaining of the wisdom and coming back into the world then to share, transform the world with that new gift of knowledge and awareness. So again, it's just beautiful. The whole book is written very well. And I thought I would like to share just the introduction with you, the first paragraph of it. Because sometimes, you know, when you're reading a book, at least for me, I often pick up a book and will read the first page or so to determine whether I'm really interested in it or not. So this will give you a little bit of that too, like how he writes. Love is the possibility of possibilities. Its farthest reach is beyond us. No matter how long we love or how much, it will always remain the mute mystery to whose ecstasy and ache we can only surrender with a yes. There is something cheerful and plucky in us that lets us risk a journey into the labyrinth of love, no matter how hazardous. However, all the love in the world will not bring us happiness or make a relationship work. That requires skill, and this skill is quite attainable. Practice can make us nimble enough to dance together with grace, however bashful we may be in the beginning. Love is expressed differently by each of us, but for most of us, 5 aspects of love stand out. We feel loved when we receive attention, acceptance, appreciation, affection, and when we are allowed the freedom to live in accord with our own deepest needs and wishes. So that's just a little bit of the introduction, and I'm sure that that you can hear that it's just a beautiful book, and it's written like that throughout. So, How to Be an Adult in Relationships: 5 Keys to Mindful Loving by David Richo. If you're interested in joining the study group, I would say that, you know, it retails on mine, it was $15.95, but I think I saw today on Amazon it's down to $12.95. And you will not feel that you have spent that money for nothing. Okay. All right. The next thing I wanted to share with you, you know, the resources, like I said, for mindfulness are endless. In fact, in my own studies of mindfulness over the years, and I did this, you know, while I was teaching the last almost 8 years, I think, of my career, I had really understood that I could see stress in students. So I wanted to bring more mindfulness practices into the classroom. And then there are all these studies now that support the benefits of mindfulness practice for children, for adults too, but especially in the education setting. There's more and more work being done to bring mindfulness in because we know all the benefits of it. So if you have children, in fact, I would highly recommend that there are even some apps that you can use for yourself. I have Calm and Headspace. And the one that I would recommend of the 2 of those that could work for a family to use if you wanted to get a subscription to that is the Headspace app. The Headspace app will show little tiny clips of a concept of mindfulness and then slowly build you up in your mindfulness practice over time. I used it with my students. They'll give you, I think, a month free to try it out. And your children, I think even as young as 3, could handle some of that because it is very child-friendly as well as being adult-friendly. So a couple of resources that I got over Time magazine. This whole Time magazine was dedicated. It was a special edition to mindfulness. I don't know if you can still get it. It was out until about a year and 4 months ago. So on display until April of 17, and gives you a lot of resources here. So if you can find that somewhere, that would be a good one. Another one is The Science of Happiness. And this will be useful to you, not just for mindfulness, but other things as well. And this was on display until September of 17. And there's really good articles in those if you can, again, get your hands on them. Sometimes used bookstores will have stuff like that available. And yeah, so there's good stuff there. The other thing is a card deck. And it's not really an oracle card deck. It's a card deck that is called Mindfulness Cards, Simple Practices for Everyday Life. I bought them to use in my coaching practice and with students. But now that I'm doing this kind of stuff, I've found that they can be used as oracle cards as well, because you can just draw one practice a day. So the man who created this has a hard name to say, so bear with me. It's Rohan Gunnatalake or Gunnatalaki, I'm not sure. He is from Glasgow, Scotland. He's author and founder of Mindfulness Everywhere, a company that develops mindfulness products, including the best-selling meditation app Buddhify. So if you're familiar with that app, these are cards created by him. And what I like about this is that he's divided the cards into categories. Let me see, I had the card out that would show me the categories, but I seem to have moved it. Here it is. So they're color-coded. Blue is rest and balance for cultivating calm and peacefulness. Red is curiosity and joy, practices for exploring the world around you with open eyes and an open heart. Yellow is insight and awareness for bringing your attention to subtle details, emotions, and experiences you might otherwise overlook. And green is kindness for practicing kindness, generosity, and acceptance toward yourself and others. So what's really nice is that you know, you could draw one from each of those categories on a daily basis, or you could just draw one when you needed to. There's other suggestions for how to use the cards. I thought today I would just draw one from each of the sections for you to think about trying today. And so just asking Spirit for, so I like to bring Spirit into this space with us. So dear Spirit of the universe of love and light, please be with us in this time and space as we focus our collective intention on gaining wisdom and guidance for our journey toward healing and self-mastery. We ask for open hearts and minds to receive the messages that will serve our highest and best good in the service of healthy love in all forms. With deep gratitude, thank you. So first, from the Rest and Balance blue cards, Spirit, please give us one card that will give us a mindfulness practice to try today. I'm just going to cut. It says, feel the ground. It says, just take the breath. Just like breath, sorry, our connection to the earth is always available to us. By simply paying attention to the feeling of our feet, we can literally ground ourselves at any time. Practice this in different circumstances and in different places, so that when you're facing difficult moments in the future, you always have an accessible tool to bring yourself back to the present moment. Yeah, feel the ground. You know, people do walking meditations, and those are really good. Bringing your awareness not just to the ground and your feet on the ground and the solidness of that, the connection to the earth. And if you're doing a walking meditation, you can also tune into the sights and sounds around you. You know, I sometimes find myself when I'm driving, I will have driven a distance. I'm sure all of you have done this too. You drive and suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, I just 10 miles passed. I don't even know how that passed because I don't remember driving it. We do a lot of things on autopilot, and that's great. I mean, that we can do that, but we're lost in our head and our thoughts, and the grounding, coming back into the moment, is really good. So this is physically on the ground, but mindfulness practices do ground you because they bring you back to the present and what you're doing. So you can even do that while you're driving a car. Being aware of your hands on the steering wheel and how tight you're gripping it and what it feels like and the temperature in the car and the sounds around you. that is a really good practice for bringing you into the moment and grounding you. So thank you for that, Spirit. Now from the red, curiosity and joy. Spirit, please give us one mindfulness practice from curiosity and joy. There's so few cards here, I can't quite shuffle like I'm used to. So I'm just going to stop and cut. See nature. Recognizing how the natural world and the it's written kind of light from my eyes. Recognizing how the natural world and the human-made world are intertwined can bring great joy and appreciation. When we take the time to see nature in the environment around us, it opens us up to a sense of wonder. Take some time to explore your surroundings and look for nature in unexpected places. A tree, a bird, a flower, a gorgeous sunset, a drop of rain. Once you train your mind to see small moments of beauty, you can cultivate moments of joy in everyday life. I was doing that this morning. I have a place that I like to sit. It's like a hammock swing and have my coffee in the morning. And I was it's out on my deck. And I was listening. I'm doing mindfulness practice of bringing my attention into my breath, into the moment, into the motion of my body moving in the swing, into the sounds that I could hear around me of the birds and the various birds that I could hear. And then also in hearing the traffic that was going by in the distance. And doing it in a very non-judgmental way. I always go through kind of a list. I hear a bird. I notice the wind. I can hear the leaves moving. I can hear the traffic. I don't say, oh, that traffic is awful. Just, I can hear the traffic. I notice the cars going by. So anyway, that's a great practice. So now from the yellow cards, which is really hard to read on this, insight and awareness. Spirit, please give us one card for mindfulness practice on insight and awareness. Look even closer. These are all going together because I know that's the way Spirit likes to work. But there are different ones, just so you know. Take time to pay closer attention to things that you would normally ignore. Learning to look at things in fine detail allows your mindfulness practice to become more refined with greater levels of subtlety. Try zooming in on a few objects in this way. A piece of paper, a lamp, a leaf, or even a sensation in your body. Explore it in new detail, giving it attention as you never had before. One of the exercises that I did with my students is to take a raisin, but you could do it with anything really. And really before you eat it, just looking at it, spending even just a minute of focused attention, just looking at the raisin. And then putting it in your mouth and slowly, feeling it in your mouth, slowly eating it, noticing the different textures, the different, qualities of the taste in your mouth. Just to take 2 minutes or 3 minutes to do that today with one bite of your food. Before you eat it, pick it up and really look at it. Give it attention. And then as you're chewing, as you're eating, mindful eating actually can help you in many ways with your diet. And we eat so often without even paying attention. I remember when I was teaching, I would end up with 15 or 20 minutes to eat. And all it was really time to do was shove it in, shovel it in, and then rush to the bathroom if I was going to have to do that before I got back to my class. It really wasn't time to decompress and take a few minutes. But now I know with mindfulness practices that even with only 20 minutes to eat, if I had mindfully brought my attention to what I was doing, but of course, we're sitting at a table with colleagues and we're chit-chatting and there's a lot of noise going on, and maybe we're thinking about what we have to do next in the day or something that happened in the past. So as a teacher, it would be like, what happened in my classroom that I was unhappy with, maybe a conflict with a student or a lesson that didn't go the way that I wished that it had gone, or kids didn't turn in enough of their homework, or whatever was the issue. So here I was at lunch, not being present, but looking back at what went wrong with the day so far, or looking forward, oh my gosh, I have to make this many copies. I still have all of this to do. We're behind on this project. Whatever was coming in the future can also distract from the present. But even a few minutes of coming back into the present will relax your body in a way, and it's scientifically proven. They've done brain scans, and you're going to relieve that stress response that your body is in the middle of experiencing. So Mark Waldman, who works with the executives and trains executives, he teaches them for on 2-minute intervals throughout their day to set a mindfulness clock to go off. And when the mindfulness clock gives a little ping, to take 2 minutes to yawn, slow stretch, and tune into their body, right? Just yawning, slow stretching, tuning into their body. And if they're going to focus on something, a power word, a value word that's really important to them. And that 2-minute time just will help reset your body's energy back to a place of being grounded, of being relaxed, of letting go of, it'll send the right chemicals in to counteract your stress response. So last pile here is the pile of kindness. This is the green heart chakra, right? It makes sense. Spirit, please give us one of the kindness cards for the day. This is a good one. Love the messenger. It says the number of messages coming into our inboxes and social feeds throughout the day and night can be overwhelming. Yeah, totally. One of the ways we can approach the constant bombardment is to think of the messages as words from actual people rather than information. Next time you open an email, take a moment to reflect on the person who wrote it, whether or not you know them personally. Think about how you shared humanity and wish them well. This short exercise before reading a message can then help you tune in to the interconnected internet of people rather than the internet of information. Love the messenger. So now you can see what those cards are all about. I think they're useful. I think that you could do something very similar on your own if you so wish. But I do find these cards to be really good, especially if you're working on cultivating more mindfulness in your life overall. Meditation practice obviously is a really, really good practice to have. And I do that almost daily for at least 10 minutes. But even if you already have a mindfulness practice like meditation, becoming throughout your day in everything you do, we can bring that frame of mind, that that mindset of mindfulness to any situation, and you will find that you are healthier, happier, more balanced, more present in everything that you do. And then doing something like dishes becomes more enjoyable instead of being lost in worry or, whatever is taking you away from that moment, just being present. Yeah. So I hope you found some of the tips and tools about mindfulness helpful. And if you, again, want to join the book study for how to be an adult in relationships group, all you have to do is click the link for the Facebook group and I will let you in. The only thing you need is the book and a willingness to read and participate to whatever level you feel comfortable. Okay, that is all I have for today. Thank you very much and have a good day. Bye.